Well, ladies and gentlemen, we do have the massive update on the most accurate pollster in the 2020 cycle when it comes to the general popular vote. They were off by less than a point, and they've got Donald Trump once again sitting +3. This is consistent with their polls throughout the summer going into the fall. They've had Trump +3 the past like four polls. This is huge news. This is an A pollster, extremely accurate. This is general election popular vote. It aligns perfectly with the Gallup party ID being +2.5 to +3 Republican. This signals that Donald Trump might be able to win the popular vote, not just by a point, but possibly by 2 to 3 points with this update from Atlas Intel. Now, they also do have an updated look at some of the swing state polls. You can see this really does align with what I'm thinking outside of North Carolina. And I'll talk about North Carolina at the end, but you do have Arizona, Trump up by 3.5, Georgia, Trump up by 3.5. I think those two states trending away from Harris right now. Those margins seem very realistic. There was another Arizona poll that got released earlier today that had Trump up by 8 and Kerry Lake leading by half a point. You've also got Trump winning Pennsylvania by over 2.5. I could see that happening. I really could. Michigan about a point. It's understandable. Nevada is going to be very close. I think it'll probably be the closest swing state, either that or Michigan. You can see Wisconsin, Trump winning by half a point. And then North Carolina, they do have Kamala Harris winning by half a point. And I think with North Carolina, Atlas had Harris up by either 2 or 3 in their last poll. And now they have her up by a half a point. So maybe a little erroneous data when it comes to North Carolina. But nonetheless, if this is how it turns out, I mean, you'll take this if you're Trump. My goodness, it's winning every swing state outside of North Carolina. It's winning the popular vote. This would be an amazing result. There's no doubt about it. It's also interesting, this poll, when you compare the national poll to the state by state, Trump winning the popular vote by 3, but not even winning all of the swing states. It goes to show you how how right a lot of these liberal states are swinging, like in New York. And also, you've got a state like Florida. Now people are saying, you look at some of these polls, it could be 10, 11, 12-point margin in Florida. That's what it's looking like right now with all of the polling that we have. And when you look at the updated Real Clear Politics numbers, Donald Trump now is sitting almost plus half a point. This is just the general popular vote. Donald Trump almost half a point. People get confused by this. This is just obviously amazing news. Trump could lose this by a point. He could lose it by 2 points and still win the election. With him being up by half a point, it is very, very good. And that's mainly because of the Reuters plus. See, they don't even have the updated Atlas Intel poll because I think there's a newer Atlas Intel that just got released that I just referenced. But it doesn't really matter because it's a Trump +3. So the +3 is going to be replaced with another +3. But Reuters released a poll that had Harris +1. Their previous poll was Harris +3. So the +3 got replaced with a +1, and it brings Harris's average down even more. So now Trump is up by 0.4 in terms of the overall average right there. You've got CNN with a tie. You've got New York Times with a tie. You've got Emerson with a tie. Rasmussen, Trump +1. A lot of these polls down here with Trump leading. Some of the polls up here with Harris leading. This is the tracker poll, TIPP. The new Rasmussen has Trump up +1. It wouldn't surprise me if Rasmussen closed with their final poll, Trump being +2 or +3. But this is just the popular vote. So listen, you'll take that if you are Trump going into election night, being up by around half a point. Again, even if you lose by a point, it doesn't matter. You're still sitting in an amazing spot when it comes to just the popular vote, because obviously Trump does not need to win that. Now, looking at the overall betting, I haven't looked at this yet today, although I did hear Trump was potentially trending up even more. So right now, Trump has gone up about a half point, around 66.5%. Kamala is at around 33. So it's about 66 to 33, 2/3 chance Trump wins right now, according to the betting. When you look at this, you do have basically all the states that are trending to Trump outside of Michigan. And even Michigan slightly is trending to Trump in terms of the betting, but not to the point where I guess it would be a lean Trump because they still have it in tan there, not in red. But you've got Georgia right around. We're waiting for Georgia to possibly go up to like 80-20. I'd really like to see that. Arizona and Georgia still sitting at 74%. North Carolina up to 73%. Nevada up to 67%. So Nevada is really starting to move. Pennsylvania up to 62% for Trump. If we went into election night like this, I would be extremely, extremely happy with where Trump sits in terms of this race, and especially with that Atlas Intel poll that we just received. With +3, it seems like everything's aligning right now for Trump to potentially win the popular vote. You don't want to get overconfident because we've seen the popular vote in the past. It seems to always go to Democrats, at least in recent U.S. history, like the past 5 cycles. But this year, it does seem like it's different. You can see Biden was up by 7.5. Hillary was up by 4.5. and now Trump is up. So that is a major change from 2016 and 2020. Trump only lost the popular vote by 2 points in 2016. He lost it by 4 points in 2020. And now it looks like we might see a big enough shift to where Trump potentially could win the popular vote. And then basically all the swing states, although I do think Nevada's going to be very close. Michigan's probably going to be very close. According to Atlas Intel, also Wisconsin's going to be very close. A lot of these states the margins are going to be razor thin, but we know it looks like Trump is expanding his lead in Georgia and Michigan, potentially outside of the margin, to where those states are becoming very, very favorable. Also, potentially North Carolina, although the Atlas Intel poll technically did have Trump losing North Carolina, although I think it's kind of an outlier because their previous poll had Trump losing North Carolina by 2 points. This one has Trump losing North Carolina by half a point. Either way, these are very, very good numbers for Trump. There's no doubt about it. And then that's the insider advantage poll. I think I already looked at that. This was the Trafalgar poll in Nevada. So Trafalgar, a Republican pollster, does have Harris up 0.2. This is their final poll. I think Nevada is going to be very, very close. This makes more sense, though, when it comes to the Senate. I think the Senate's also going to be really close. CNN had a poll out of Nevada. Their final poll was Trump +1, but then Rosen +9. It just didn't make sense. It's going to be a very close state. There's no doubt about it. And I think if Trump wins it, it's probably going to be by like half a point. If Harris wins it, it's probably going to be half a point, maybe even less than that. But I do think Trump will end up very narrowly winning it. This was the poll I was referencing, Trump +1, but then Rosen +9 over Brown. It just doesn't make any sense. The Trafalgar poll makes a lot more sense than that. But either way, I would say that Atlas Intel, that's exactly what we wanted. And this is exactly what, you'll take this. Trump leading every single swing state outside of North Carolina with the bigger margins in Georgia and Arizona, and even losing North Carolina by half a point. Obviously, that's, all of these polls are technically within the margin, but Arizona and Georgia, you would say over 3 points this late in the cycle, especially with a lot of the other polls we've seen out of those states. You're looking at those, they're becoming more safe, and it wouldn't surprise me if they did become 80-20 states where Trump's got like an 80% chance to win according to the betting, 85-15. I think it's going to be very, very hard for her to win those states. We just saw Fox News turn Arizona to a lean Republican. That is the first swing state out of the 7 they've turned one way, and it is to lean Republican. So that's also good news there. But either way, guys, that is the big Atlas Intel update. Donald Trump, the final Atlas Intel poll, sitting +3. They were most accurate in 2020. They got within a point. They are an A-graded pollster. That is the popular vote that they had Donald Trump winning by 3 points. I think if you round it with everyone, it's 2.5, but still, that is an amazing result that aligns perfectly with the Gallup Party ID, which has been very, very accurate in terms of determining the popular vote the last 5 to 6 election cycles, where it's been within a point. So these are very accurate indicators saying that Donald Trump will win this election and also will win just the popular vote in general. And we are seeing some slight movement when it comes to the popular vote. You can see Trump up to around a 42% chance. It was hovering around 60-40 there for a few days, but I do wonder if this Atlas poll changed it at least a little bit, or I don't know, maybe it has been around 42% here. But yeah, I mean, it is slightly moving in Trump's direction when it comes to the popular vote. You can see just in the last month, Harris was 75-23, like basically 75-25 to win. And now it's been more than slashed. I mean, now it's only a 16-point edge for Harris. We could be looking at 50-50 in terms of popular vote. People get confused. This is just the popular vote. Trump does not need to win the popular vote. He lost the popular vote by 2 points in 2016 and won the election, winning 306 electoral votes. So he doesn't need it. But just look at the graph. You can see Trump is making up significant ground, going from basically 80-20 in late September to where we are at around 58-42. And we might even see more money come in on Trump with this Atlas Intel poll and with the potential final Gallup Party ID. If they align where it's Trump +2, +3, and the party ID is Republican advantage +2 or +3, CNN released their final poll. They had the generic ballot Republican +3. We're starting to see all these indicators to where now more and more people are going to start putting money on Trump to potentially even win the popular vote. So guys, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you follow me on X. Link to that's always in the description.